loud sound that seemed to fade. Came back like a slow voice on a wave of fade. That wasn't no DJ, that was hazy cosmic jive. There's a
Welcome to this edition of Central Valley Talk. Today we have a very special feature, as today's show is in honor of Senator Bernie Sanders, who's here in California right now, making his rounds, getting ready to talk to all of the Californians out here, because the June 7th is I'm already stuttering. If you watch any of the other shows, you know I can't do a single one without stutter. It gets awful. But as I'm trying to say, June 7th is the primaries here in California, where it's our turn to vote for who we want to be the presidential nominee for our party. And obviously sitting here speaking, for it, I am a Democrat, but I'm kind of debating whether or not I define myself as that, as if I'm voting for Bernie, and if I'm so, in tune with his views, I would probably be more of a democratic socialist. And we'll go over more of what that means later. But for now, we're going to talk about what we're going to do today, and then we'll come back from break. But on our lineup today, we have Ted Miller, who's running for the 31st Assembly here in California, and he's going to be here talking about why he's voting for Bernie and a little bit about his campaign as well. And we're going to be talking about the Fresno rally when Bernie Sanders is here and what the experience was like. And hopefully we'll have a couple other people here to weigh in on that as well. Stay right here on the Bernie Sanders Special Edition Live segment here at Central Valley Talk. We'll be right back after these messages.
Sal Contreras of JC's Lawn Service is the go-to guy for all your lawn care and landscaping needs. Just call Sal at 559-978-7730.
Hi, Haven Young here. Join Mike Briggs and myself at Central Valley Talk Studios, 1212 North Van Ness, to find out more about Moringa oleifera, the world's most nutritious plant, and get a chance to win a 6-day free trial of Moringa oleifera. That's again the fourth Saturday this month in May. We're almost through, so it's the 28th, 2 p.m. here at Central Valley Talk, 1212 North Van Ness. And if you can't be here, look at our website, mostnutritiousPlant.com. Don't forget the hyphens in between. See you there. Bye now.
Fresno State students, listen up. Looking for a place to live? Try University Place. Call 559-229-2295 or visit FresnoUniversityPlace.com for more information. Need a dentist? Call Dr. David Wright at 559-222-6213 or visit BiteMeDental.com. Get solar power for your home. Email Dan Siemens at LegacyPower.com or call 559-312-5011.
For information on author Steve Hammond's Rise of the Penguin saga, visit www.riseofthepenguins.net.
Kissed by the Moon, your cloth, diaper, and natural parenting store. Call 559-231-7101 or visit them online at kissedbythemoon.com.
Central Valley Talk. What are we? We're an online talk show dedicated towards promoting you, whether you're a business, band, nonprofit, or whatever. How do we do it? We connect you to a sea of thousands of viewers by placing you in front of a live camera and letting you, well, be you. Work with our team of friendly faces to help you get maximum visibility above the rest of your competition.
Welcome back to Central Valley Business.
Next guest this afternoon on Central Valley Talk is Carrie Reeve.
Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm so glad you're here.
Hi
welcome back to the
my
wedding
show, Live Your Dream. It's about
Hi, welcome back. Ben Jones.
Okay. All right, so our next.
And we are back. Keeping it real estate with Captain Wilcox.
Welcome back to Central Valley Business. I am Mike Briggs, your host for today. By the way, if you're watching right now and you'd like to be a guest on Central Valley Business, call us up.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
Then the loud sound that seemed to fade came back like a slow voice on a wave of fate. That wasn't no DJ, that was hazy cosmic jive.
And welcome back to the live special Bernie Sanders episode here of Central Valley Talk, where everything today, for at least this hour, is all about Bernie Sanders and why you should get on his bandwagon, so to speak. Now, while we're here waiting for our guest, we're going to be talking a little bit about when Bernie Sanders was here in Fresno. And as you know, it was at the Fresno Fairgrounds at the Paul Paul Theater. And we have a picture coming up right now that yours truly did take, because she was the fourth in the row, because someone over here is feeling the burn, as is the rest of our studio, happily. As you can see right here, oops, there goes the picture again. But no worries, we all like looking at Bernie. But it was a really great event. I was waiting there with a couple of my friends. We went around noon, and we waited until about 7:50 to actually see him. But it was a really great, cool thing. And we'll have the picture up again right now, so you can kind of see like an idea of how many people were there. And we'll let you look at it for a minute while we're talking. But it was really, really cool, because I mean, we were there for hours and hours, and it was totally worth it. Because I mean, there was a huge line. I think the stadium only was capable of fitting 5,000, but close to, I think, 10,000 actually showed up, and people had to be turned away. But you know what was really cool is that we were expecting to see him at 7:30, but he came out around 7:50, and that was because he stopped to talk with all of the people who couldn't actually sit in the stadium. Like, I'm told that like he actually stood there and talked with them about what he planned on telling us, and then he came out. And he came out, you know, with this song for Starman by David Bowie, which is why we're playing it today. And it was just, it was so incredible. I can't even convey. Me, if you happen to see me there, I was really close up, and I was crying like a ding dong. It was so embarrassing. Yeah, so it was really cool. And if you are watching right now and you want to call in at any point in the conversation, this is the number for our studio, and you can talk with me on the air as we talk about Bernie Sanders today. And when we have our guest here, you can talk with him as well. And if you hadn't tuned in before, we have Ted Miller coming, who's going to be talking about why he's running for the 31st Assembly and why he himself is voting for Bernie Sanders come June 7th for the California primaries. And we're going to show a clip right now of when Bernie Sanders first walked out, and all of us Bernie fanatics were going, "Oh, yes!" So take a look at this. Well, surprisingly, the first video, I meant to have you see it cut like a little short. I don't know if it's because of my email or my phone. I mean, come on, Apple, this is supposed to do wonders. But it wasn't even a long video. It was just the moment where Bernie Sanders first walks out. And I'm sure we can find it during our next break so we can show you. It just won't be the one I took. But rest assured, if you follow me on Snapchat, you got the whole Bernie Sanders rally experience, because it was great. We're going to take a short break right now, but just so you know, throughout the show, you can call this number at the bottom of the screen to weigh in on the conversation. When we come back, we're going to be talking a little bit more about Bernie Sanders, the man, and why, why he's perhaps, captured the hearts of so many in this country. So stay right here on the Bernie Sanders special live on Central Valley Talk. We'll be right back after these messages.
Jack Hanna here. When you vote for Dan Ronquillo, you get a law enforcement officer of 28 years committed to public safety. A two-term city councilman with experience in creating jobs which revitalized South Fresno. A businessman who knows how to balance a budget and lower unemployment. Folks, Dan will bridge the gap between city and county to tackle the tough issues facing our community. Make the wise choice and vote for Dan Ronquillo for Supervisor District 3. Experienced leadership we can trust.
I'm Dan Ronquillo, and I approve this message.
Hi, Haven Young here. Join Mike Briggs and myself here at Central Valley Talk at 1212 North Van Ness the second and fourth Saturdays in June 11th and June 25th at Central Valley Talk, and find out more about the most nutritious plant on earth, Moringa oleifera, and we're going to be giving away a 6-day sample pack to someone that attends, and find out more about Moringa oleifera at our website, mostnutritiousPlant.com. Don't forget the hyphens in between. See you here. Have some fun. Come on and find out about Moringa oleifera. It'll change your life.
Hello, my name is Karen Roseberry, and I am a candidate for the United States Senate. I come before you today asking for your vote on June 7th and bring before you the platform of Save the Future. Save the Future stands for security in our foreign policy, accountability in our governmental spending, values consistent with our Constitution, and educational excellence for our young people. My name is Karen Roseberry for the United States Senate, and I ask for your vote on June 7th. Thank you.
Give your home and yard a facelift with Olivas Landscaping. Olivas Landscaping can make a tired yard look fresh again. Whether you need one-time or recurring service, repair, or a whole new design, contact Olivas Landscaping. Call Patrick Olivas at 273-0142.
Realtor Letty Pingatori is a broker associate with Keller Williams, and she is also a voiceover artist. Contact Letty at 559-281-4568.
Need raisins? Call National Raisin Company at 559-834-5981 or online at nationalraisin.com.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
Sir, I have a proposition. We're decent people being driven from our homes, slaughtered in cold blood.
So you seek revenge?
I seek righteousness, but I'll take revenge.
Took a job looking for some men to join me. Difficult? Impossible.
How many you got so far?
You and me?
Quite a batch of strays.
This is not going to end well. God dang it, I'm good.
How many men you say?
I opened up the mailbox, guess what I saw? It said to vote no, some kind of law. Next one says you need to vote yes.
I wasn't ready for a mental test. On the TV, a man says to me, you need to agree on how we see. They keep sending me ads with their quotes. They don't know me, but still want my vote. Hey now, I can't vote like that. Hey now, I gotta study the facts. Listen, I'm taking my time. You're gonna get whatever I finally decide. Standing in line with my sincerity, ready to vote yes on prosperity. 100 paper flyers got mailed out to me, asking for a vote to help save a tree. They pointed to the right, then to the left, accuse each other about theft. Somewhere in between, more swinging in the bicker, I'm feeling good about my ivory sticker. Hey now, I can't vote like that. Hey now, I gotta study the facts. Listen, I'm taking my time. They're gonna get whatever I finally decide. Hey now, I can't vote like that. Hey now, I gotta study the facts. Listen, I'm taking my time. They're gonna get whatever I finally decide.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
There are a lot of people here tonight. And you may not know it, there are a few thousand people over there who couldn't get in. Fresno, welcome to the political revolution. Let me begin by thanking the Lonesome Gem Band. Let me thank their Yellow Rondero Band. Let me thank our field organizer, Luis Ojeda. And let me thank Amy Glass and the California Nurses Association.
Welcome back to our special Bernie Sanders live edition here at Central Valley Talk, where we are all here feeling the burn, and we hope that you all out there will too by the end of today's show. And we are back with our very special guest, Ted Miller, who is here to tell us all about his work for Bernie and why you should be doing it too. Welcome, Ted.
Thank you.
Welcome for being here. Now, tell us what you've been doing today.
Well, I want to be clear here. I'm not speaking on behalf of the Bernie Sanders campaign.
Yeah.
I am running for the Assembly right now. I'm on the ballot for the 31st Assembly District.
Awesome.
But I took a break from campaigning today, and I went out canvassing for Bernie Sanders because, you know, I'm a Bernie-crat. I am feeling the burn, and a lot of people in Fresno are feeling the burn, judging by that, you know, very well-attended rally you just played the tape of. That was really exciting, wasn't it?
It was, and we were saying earlier on this show that it was only expected to fit, they can only fit 5,000 people, but double that showed up.
The way I understand, what I heard is that they filled the venue of 5,000 people, and there were estimates of 2,000 to 3,000 in overflow, and a couple thousand, you know, people were turned away or left because the venue was filled. So really exciting to see that energy. You know, if you haven't watched the stream of the whole speech, you know, it is so exciting to see that energy in a political event in Fresno. Just, I loved it.
I couldn't have said it better myself, because I mean, I was there too. I mean, we were there, me and my friends, we were there for hours. I mean, we were there since noon, and we didn't see him till like 7:50 or so.
Wow.
That was a long time. It's like, who else would you do that for? When you think about it, like, even myself, like, why, what makes me do that? Like, I mean, I know why I'm doing it, but you know, if you think about it, like, I didn't even do that for Obama, and I loved him back in the day too, like when he was first running. But like, there's something special about Bernie that I don't think we can say about any other person before him.
Well, I think the way that he's avoided taking money from the PACs, that Bernie has been consistent in his views, consistent in the causes that he supports. He was opposed to us getting into the Iraq War very early. Bernie has been supporting the 99% for
ever.
For all of his political career. The guy's just, you know, it's so, you know, he doesn't swing with the winds of the particular issues. Bernie has been consistent. His colleagues in the Senate and probably in the House when he was there, but his colleagues in the Senate all praise him. He's very effective as a legislator. You know, I mean, it's so inspirational. You know, when I began my campaign for the 31st Assembly District, you know, I said, you know, there's three people that made me get into the race for the 31st Assembly District. You know, my Republican opponent, my Democratic opponent, and Bernie Sanders.
That's awesome.
And that is that's been, you know, been true throughout the campaign. So, but this is about Bernie and about the upcoming presidential primary for Bernie. I'd appreciate your support too, but you know, I've become very frustrated in watching the presidential primary and realizing, I mean, California, we've got 15% of the population of our nation. There's 40 million people in California and 300 million in the country. So a little bit off 15%, but close to that. So, you know, and our presidential candidates are supposed to be chosen for us by Iowa and New Hampshire and South Carolina. I mean, nothing against Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina, but, you know, if California were split out and considered, you know, the size of its economy based on its gross domestic product, California would be the 8th largest economy on the planet. You know, 40 million people in California. And we're at the end of the primary season, you know, when it's all but decided based on, you know, superdelegates. You know, I don't think so.
Although I just read that there was one that is, I think, advocating for him now. It's not like I don't think it's, super delegate. I almost said super PAC, because Bernie Sanders ain't about super PACs.
Super delegates, right.
Yeah, yes. I almost confused it, but there is a discernible difference. And
no,
I mean,
stories about some super delegates have come over, and this isn't over. You know,
it's not over.
Being in a political campaign this year and being, you know, I'm a Democrat. My Democratic opponent had $2 to $3 million dumped on him by medical PACs, and I got to see the way that money comes into campaigns and distorts the view that the voters get. And I learned in my campaign, I learned that, you know, the biggest impediment to removing money from politics is the media. Because, you know, and when you think about it that way, it's like a well duh moment. Of course, it's the media, because it's the media that gets the money. It's the media that gets all the advertising. It's the media that enjoys, you know, the bulk of that money that is spent on political ads. In my case, in our race, my personal experience in this kind of a situation was I was invited to a televised debate on KC24 by Evan Onstadt on February 16th. On February 18th, 2 days later, the PACs supporting my Democratic opponent placed $40,000 in advertising on KC24 and their sister station, Channel 47. So they placed that advertising 2 days after I'd been invited to debate. Well, 2 working days after that, I was disinvited from the debate.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's and they said, well, we've just decided your campaign isn't viable. And they had this long list of things that make a campaign viable, but after the long list of things, campaign literature, and office that's staffed during the day and stuff like that, things that are nice and stuff. But at the end of the list was you have to raise $50,000.
Oh, that's easy, right?
You're not a viable campaign unless you've raised $50,000. You can't raise. Well, it would be extremely hard to raise $50,000 from donors in the 31st Assembly District. We are the second poorest assembly district in the state of California. Wow. My Democratic opponent raised $2 to $3 million. It's one article pegged it at $2.2 million is what they spent on paper. I'm estimating they spent $3 million. But it all came from medical PACs, and most of it came from outside. He got some money from inside the district, but the majority of it came, from outside of the assembly district, and it was medical PAC money. So I understand where that was coming from. But anyway, so that story, that's kind of an illustration for me, in my experience, how money warps the image of campaigns, the perception of campaigns that is shown to the people. I've been a big MSNBC fan for a long time. A few weeks ago, I saw this shift in the coverage. MSNBC kind of had an even hand in addressing the race between Hillary and Bernie, and then couple of weeks ago, I saw this shift, and all of a sudden, this negative energy about. Did you?
I know what you're talking about, though. I didn't see it on MSNBC because I just live on internet in my house. I don't have cable or even basic cable. I just have YouTube and Netflix and whatever's on my computer. That's how I find out things, unlike common people in town.
It's a shading. It's a focus. And anyway, but we had this event. Bernie came to Fresno. We had this great event. I shouldn't say we.
We were there to enjoy the spirit of the event, certainly.
There was this incredible event. The energy, watch it on YouTube. And then Tacos Tijuana.
Oh, I know.
Tacos Tijuana. I'd been to that place. I love that place, right? And when I first saw that post the day after the event, and I said, "No way!" And then that story. That's in the press.
It's
great
legendary
pictures
here now.
Oh yeah, tacos.
And it's so crazy. We were all talking about how we wanted tacos, but we didn't do it because we went to Denny's, like typical basic people we are in my group of friends. But if we had just gone with the taco thing. Oh my God, and I just saw that yesterday he was at In-N-Out. He's experiencing a California tradition of trying In-N-Out, which some people love it. There's a 1% in California that doesn't like it too much. But it's a classic. You have to try it at least once in your lifetime if you're visiting California. And he did.
I want to be really clear. I want to stress this. I am not here speaking on behalf of the Sanders campaign. I went out canvassing today. I spoke to voters. The first voter I spoke with was a retired librarian.
Oh, nice.
That, except for health issues, he would be out canvassing for Bernie. It was such listen, if you're a Bernie supporter, you're listening to this, get on Facebook, get on the computer machine. They're looking for people to canvass. It is so much fun to go out and canvass.
That's very, very true. I have never met thus far a Bernie supporter that wasn't a very likable, nice, energetic person. That's part of the appeal of being on Team Bernie is that everyone. It's a really great fan base / community that evolves from doing work for him, and wanting to get his name out there. I mean, just going to the Bernie Sanders rally in Fresno, like, I mean, I know I have friends that are a little bit more involved than I am, and you see each other like, oh my God, and you run up and hug each other because you're like, we're in this together. It's really a revolution that we're all getting done together, and you know, we all believe that it's going to work out, and it's going to. It's going to.
And you know, our support, my support for Bernie, I hope yours. My support for Bernie, I mean, I'm in favor of Bernie. I support Bernie in the primary, and whatever happens after the primary, I'm supporting the Democrat in the general. You know, so you know, I'm not taking anything away from his opponent. His opponent is a worthy candidate. His Democratic opponent, the Republican, I guess we're calling him the presumptive nominee at this point.
Which is kind of weird because there is no one else running in the Republican. It's like it's still saying presumptive, like it's probably, but
right.
like who, like there's no one else there, so it's like it's a weird word, but
well,
I get it.
He becomes the nominee after the convention. But the Republican presumptive nominee is scary. And I'm gonna I'll leave it at that. Sorry, not a very elegant transition.
Oh no, it's fine. If you're watching this show right now and you want to call in at any point and join the conversation, the number is here at the bottom of the screen. We're gonna cut to a commercial really quick, but when we come back, we're gonna talk about more that you can do to get involved with the Bernie Sanders campaign here in Fresno or anywhere in California. Stay right here on Central Valley Talk, the Bernie Sanders edition. We'll be right back after these messages.
Jack Hanna here. When you vote for Dan Ronquillo, you get a law enforcement officer of 28 years committed to public safety, a two-term city councilman with experience in creating jobs which revitalized South Fresno, a businessman who knows how to balance a budget and lower unemployment. Folks, Dan will bridge the gap between city and county to tackle the tough issues facing our community. Make the wise choice and vote for Dan Ronquillo for Supervisor District 3. Experienced leadership we can trust.
I'm Dan Ronquillo, and I approve this message.
Hi, Haven Young here. Join Mike Briggs and myself here at Central Valley Talk at 1212 North Van Ness the second and fourth Saturdays in June 11th and June 25th at Central Valley Talk, and find out more about the most nutritious plant on earth, Moringa oleifera, and we're going to be giving away a 6-day sample pack to someone that attends, and find out more about Moringa oleifera at our website, mostnutritiousPlant.com. Don't forget the hyphens in between. See you here. Have some fun. Come on and find out about Moringa oleifera. It'll change your life.
Hello, my name is Karen Roseberry, and I am a candidate for the United States Senate. I come before you today asking for your vote on June 7th and bring before you the platform of Save the Future. Save the Future stands for security in our foreign policy, accountability in our governmental spending, values consistent with our Constitution, and educational excellence for our young people. My name is Karen Roseberry for the United States Senate, and I ask for your vote on June 7th. Thank you.
Give your home and yard a facelift with Olivas Landscaping. Olivas Landscaping can make a tired yard look fresh again. Whether you need one-time or recurring service, repair, or a whole new design, contact Olivas Landscaping. Call Patrick Olivas at 273-0142.
Realtor Letty Pinjatori is a broker associate with Keller Williams, and she is also a voiceover artist. Contact Letty at 559-281-4568.
Need raisins? Call National Raisin Company at 559-834-5981 or online at nationalraisin.com.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
Welcome back to the Bernie Sanders special edition of Central Valley Talk today on this lovely Saturday but swelteringly hot afternoon if you're in Fresno. We're here with Ted Miller, and we're talking today about why Bernie Sanders. Why do we want him to be the nominee for this presidential race? So before we get into that, we want to go over like what it is a democratic socialist is, because a lot of people I think get thrown off by that term. They think it's something kind of shady just because there are a lot of people that associate it with a term that it hasn't meant in a long time. And very nerdily, I have it written on I have it on my phone. That's not it. Here it is. So like the actual definition of democratic socialism is: democratic socialism is a political ideology that advocates political democracy alongside social ownership of the means of production, with democratic management of enterprises within a socialist economic system. So in a nutshell, basically that means that democratic socialism... Here we go. Lauren Baker's stuttering. She stuttered saying the word stuttering. That's a new one. But in a nutshell, that basically means that Bernie Sanders is for the people and he's for democracy. That means even if you don't agree with him, he's willing to listen to you. It's not like all differing opinions are wrong. You know, he's openly said countless times that he welcomes differing opinions because he wants to know why you're challenging a belief of his, and maybe he wants to know more about yours. And I think that makes for a very strong and worthy candidate of someone I would want to be in charge of my country. So, Ted, would you like to weigh in on this as well?
Yeah, well, I think a democratic socialist, a great example of a democratic socialist is Franklin Delano Roosevelt, FDR.
Yes.
Our president during World War II and during the Great Depression of the 30s. And democratic socialist programs are things like Social Security, unemployment insurance, Medicare, medical coverage for seniors over 65. Those are quote unquote socialist programs. The word socialism has had a bad rap because of the ancient history with Russia and stuff like that. But a lot of the programs that we've come to desire to support in our nation, like Social Security, the other things that are socialist are things that are paid for by the government. You know, socialist concepts like the fire department, the police department. Those are socialist concepts.
I think even like public facilities like drinking fountains and things like that. If I'm not mistaken, I think I read that was a public service that didn't previously exist until socialism was implemented in this country.
Public universities. Our school system is socialist. So that term gets thrown around as a pejorative a great deal, and that's unfortunate. I'm an engineer. I have an MBA. I worked for Hewlett Packard for much of my professional career, and in looking back at Hewlett Packard and the time that I was working there between 1977 and 1990, Hewlett Packard was almost a socialist kind of a company. They encouraged ownership of the company by the employees. There was an employee-sponsored stock ownership program which had heavy subsidies. A lot of people maxed out on their contributions and ended up owning a big slice of the company. And as the company became more and more successful, those people did very well for themselves. So working people were turned in, had a very comfortable retirement based on their ownership in the corporation. And so, I would look at Bill Hewlett and Dave Packard, the fathers of Hewlett Packard, as, what we would call socialists today.
No, absolutely, and to a degree, I would almost argue that socialism often is ahead of its time in almost every decade that it's ever started something new, because it usually knows what we needed yesterday when we're still focusing on what we don't have now and what we think it should be, and then ends up becoming the future of where we are. I mean, I think yesterday they were saying that Obama decided to not cut Social Security, and that was a thing that Bernie Sanders has been championing for who knows how long, and he finally decided to not do it, and he was going to. And I feel like most of the things that Bernie Sanders champions for, it ends up becoming the thing that politicians are following the curtails for.
Well, Bernie is very progressive. He's very supportive of the 99% as opposed to the 1%. I think that, his support for the little guy, his support for the 99% is what drives the incredible support of his campaign. The energy and enthusiasm that we see on the video of the event in Fresno, the events that he had following Fresno, the event in Oakland, and I am a little disappointed in the news coverage or the lack of news coverage on those events. I mean, you can find it, but the coverage that I found of the Oakland event, there was a little bit in the news, but the online news or the other news programs and programs such as this was really the place where you found the better coverage, and it showed the magnitude of the event. It was the energy out there for Bernie in California is outstanding. I mean,
it really is. It's very electrifying, no matter who you talk to. Honestly,
I understand that the other Democratic presidential candidate has scheduled an event in Fresno later today.
Yep, at Edison High. I mean, I don't recommend going, but if you're gonna go, don't protest, please, because you're not really serving this campaign by doing so.
Bernie Sanders supporters, you want to support Bernie, you go out and you canvass, get involved in phone banking, contact the campaign.
Yeah, use your time wisely. Like, if you really want Bernie to win, do something about it, which is why we're sitting here today, because we want people like you to reach out and get active, because it's better to do that, and then you can say, at least I helped to get, whether he wins it or not, if you at least helped, there's a better chance when all of us take the initiative to do something about it. And of course, if you are spending your time protesting at a Trump rally or a Hillary rally, you're not going to convince anybody to change their minds. Just like if a Trump supporter walked in here right now, it's like, Ted, you need to get on the Trump train. It's not going to make you just because you're yelling at. Just because they're yelling at you doesn't mean you're going to be like, you know what, maybe you're right. Just because you're being loud, so that means I must listen. That's what a Trump supporter would do, and that's what Trump does. But I mean, I'm gonna push back on that a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I'm campaigning for Bernie.
Yes.
I'm not campaigning against his opponent Hillary Clinton. However, I did go to the Trump event. I went outside the Trump event. I went out there and I supported my friends. Shout out to Guadalupe, the people from MAPA, the Brown Berets that were protesting at the Trump event. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. No hablo bien español, lo siento. But there's something we need to. I'd like to bring up here. There were a couple of people who were arrested at the Trump camp, at the Trump rally. I went to the rally. I was there for 45 minutes or so. I left before the police did their riot outfits and lines and sweeping the area. I don't know what happened there, but we got two people who were arrested, and I believe they're still in jail. And Bernie supporters, Hillary supporters, we need to not forget about those people who are languishing in our jails right now, and we need to support those people. We need to not ignore what happened to them. They were protesting against the Trump stances and on behalf of the community, and they have my support.
Oh no, I don't like it's not like I'm saying personally that like no one will listen to you per se, but like I just like because I remember the day of I was strongly like trying to tell people like don't go just because especially at a Trump rally it can get out of hand. Like I think it's worthy what you have to protest about. Certainly, I'm all for it when there's a time and that if it's a safe place, if it's possible, because sometimes it really is necessary to do it. But like because we know what happens at Trump rallies, we know how bigoted, we know how dangerous it can be. Like, I just don't like to see people I know put themselves in that position. I know that they have every right to do it. I know that their cause is well worth it. I just don't like to see people get, like, bashed by police or, you know, things like that if they don't have to be. Like, I would rather just, like, spend your time trying to get people to see the good in the candidate that you do want to win.
Yes, absolutely. And the, you know, when I'm canvassing, you run into, if you run into a Trump supporter, you know, you thank them for their time, and you ask them, you wish them a nice day, and you know, get out and go on to your next person. You canvassing, when you knock on a door and you encounter somebody who is opposed to your candidate or supporting the other candidate, don't spend your time, you know, trying to convince them, because you could spend half an hour and you might convince one person, or you could, you know, spend that half an hour knocking on 8 other doors and convince 8 to 16 people to get out and vote. So your time is much better spent, you know, you engage you run into somebody who's opposed to your candidate, thank them for their time, tell them they have a nice day, move on.
Exactly, because I mean, you're not gonna like if it, like even if it's just you, like just imagine like if someone tried to like convince you at length to like vote for someone other than the person that you believe in. It's like it's it's not gonna work. I mean, if you've already, I would rather you know if you can find them, like focus on those who are actually undecided, because it's not worth the time really necessarily to like try and convert people that have already set their minds, especially this close in the game. Like it doesn't really make sense. But you know, for people that are undecided, and there are many, like get those people to like come to rallies, invite them to like do phone banking and canvassing with you. And if you need to know like more information where you can go on polling places, you can text I have it. Oh yeah, you can text 82623, and they'll send you information on where on your location you can go to a polling place and get your ballots. You can learn more information about them. You can you could. I think it's past the day for registration actually, but if it was still before May 23rd, you could have done it there. And you can also call 600 votes, and you can actually help at the polling places on June 7th and possibly get paid for it if you want to help volunteer for that with the county clerks. So that is a really cool thing you can do if you want to be more involved with the campaign. And of course, if you want to be more involved with the official Bernie Sanders campaign, you can always go to his official website and sign up there. And there's always updates from their campaign where they'll send you places that you can canvass in your area, such as like Ted here, who's been doing it all morning, and and he's glowing. Look how happy he is to be doing it.
It's really fun.
It is really fun. I have not yet to do it, but I plan on doing it before Tuesday, of course. And they're always looking for people to phone bank as well. In fact, I got one today on my own phone. Like they'll text you. Like there's always somebody that will text you or email you if you prefer. But they'll text you, and you can choose a time to do it yourself. And like between I think 10 a.m. to midnight, like today and tomorrow, you could be phone banking. And if you just want to start right then and there and you get the text, there's even an option for that. You don't even have to sit there and think about when you're going to be free today or tomorrow to even do it. So it's really like it's really user friendly, and it's like it's not complicated. It's really simple, and I think that's part of what the allure with Bernie Sanders is himself. He's a simple, down to earth person who's willing to get to know everybody, no matter who they are.
Well, and you know, the best thing about political campaigns is talking to voters.
Yeah.
When I got started on my campaign, I went out to collect signatures, and honestly, I had no idea what I was going to encounter, and I was a little nervous, maybe a lot nervous about going and knocking on people's doors. Are we going to...
we're fine. I think we're probably going to go to commercial right now, but when we come back, we'll talk more about it.
Okay, we'll cover that when we come back.
Yeah, right here on the Bernie Sanders event here at Central Valley Talk.
Jack Hanna here. When you vote for Dan Ron Keogh, you get a law enforcement officer of 28 years committed to public safety, a two-term city councilman with experience in creating jobs which revitalized South Fresno, a businessman who knows how to balance a budget and lower unemployment. Folks, Dan will bridge the gap between city and county to tackle the tough issues facing our community. Make the wise choice and vote for Dan Ron Keogh for Supervisor District 3. Experienced leadership we can trust.
I'm Dan Ronquillo, and I approve this message.
Hi, Haven Young here. Join Mike Briggs and myself here at Central Valley Talk at 1212 North Van Ness the second and fourth Saturdays in June 11th and June 25th at Central Valley Talk, and find out more about the most nutritious plant on earth, Moringa oleifera, and we're going to be giving away a 6-day sample pack to someone that attends, and find out more about Moringa oleifera at our website, mostnutritiousPlant.com. Don't forget the hyphens in between. See you here. Have some fun. Come on and find out about Moringa oleifera. It'll change your life.
Hello, my name is Karen Roseberry, and I am a candidate for the United States Senate. I come before you today asking for your vote on June 7th and bring before you the platform of Save the Future. Save the Future stands for security in our foreign policy, accountability in our governmental spending, values consistent with our Constitution, and educational excellence for our young people. My name is Karen Roseberry for the United States Senate, and I ask for your vote on June 7th. Thank you.
Give your home and yard a facelift with Olivas Landscaping. Olivas Landscaping can make a tired yard look fresh again. Whether you need one-time or recurring service, repair, or a whole new design, contact Olivas Landscaping. Call Patrick Olivas at 273-0142.
Realtor Letty Pinjatori is a broker associate with Keller Williams, and she is also a voiceover artist. Contact Letty at 559-281-4568.
Need raisins? Call National Raisin Company at 559-834-5981 or online at nationalraisin.com.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
Look out your window, I can see his light. If we can sparkle, he may land tonight. Don't tell your papa, or he'll get us locked up and fight. There's a starman waiting in the sky. He'd like to come and
Welcome back to this very special Bernie Sanders live edition of Central Valley Talk, where we're talking all things Bernie Sanders and why you should go out and vote for him for the June 7th primaries here in California coming up next week. And we're also here with Ted Miller, who's running for the 31st Assembly here as well, who's weighing in on the conversation about it. And if you want to join the conversation, the number's at the bottom of the screen. You can call anytime and talk with us some more. And if you missed a chance to be here today, you can always come in on Monday at the same time at 3 o'clock, because we are looking for more people to join the conversation, especially if you're a Bernie volunteer. So if you're looking to call in, or if you would like to be on the show next week, we're going to have another opening, and we hope that you'll be able to be a part of that as well, if you're looking to be more involved and help people out there feel the burn, as they say, and all of us collectively do. Now, Ted, I wanted to ask you, what drives you personally to be as what you say, a burnocratic, whatever. You said something earlier that I really liked. Yeah, burnocrat. I've never heard that, but I love that.
I've been labeled a Bernie-crat.
Yes, I love that.
You know, I am going to turn 60 years old this year.
You don't look it.
Oh, bless your sweetheart. Born in 1956. And, you know, when I was growing up, we put a man on the moon. You know, we achieved great things. We built a great state university system. I went to USC on state scholarships and grants. I graduated from USC with an engineering degree with $5,000 in student debt, and I got a job for $28,000. Now, cost of college has gone up so much. Everybody says, oh, we can't build high-speed rail because we can't afford it. Well, we can't afford it because we're spending too much money on health care. We need to cut back on the amount of money we're spending on health care. And, so much of what Bernie stands for, taking money out of politics, programs that help the little guy as opposed to subsidies for big oil, corporate subsidies. The things that Bernie stands for and that he's always stood for in his political career just resonate with me. And I'm feeling the burn, and I think a lot of people in Fresno are. I'd like to talk a little bit about canvassing, about my experience.
Please do.
I started to say that, when I decided to run for the assembly, I had to go door to door to collect signatures, and I bought the database, the voter database, and I made what's called walk lists, where you basically have address and the name of the people that live there. I was amazed at the positive response that I got from people. It was so energizing. It was so pleasant, and it was so energizing. And now canvassing for the Bernie campaign, they're a little bit more high tech. When you canvass for the Bernie campaign, you load an app on your smartphone, and you get a canvas list on your smartphone, which is basically a Google Maps presentation of where these people are. You knock on doors and you know the name of the people that live there, and there's something about you knock on a door and you look at your list, you go, okay, this is Betty and John Smith, okay, and so you got Betty and John is in your brain. So the door opens and there's a man standing there, and the first thing that comes out of your mouth is, this is canvassing advice, folks. The first thing that comes out of your mouth is, you must be John. And then John is standing there looking at you, in my case, this old gray-haired guy, and he says, why is this old gray-haired guy in a Bernie shirt standing on my porch saying, you must be John? So immediately he's curious who you are. Well, Bernie, who you are, why are you on his front porch, and how do you know his name? I'm from the Bernie Sanders campaign, and I'm asking you to support Bernie. And, you get an overwhelming positive response. Sometimes you get a lukewarm response, but you know what? Even the people with the lukewarm response, they want to talk about politics, and that's not all bad, but it really is, it's a great experience. It's a great cause, and it helps we're going to help put Bernie over the top. I think Bernie's going to win California. I think we're going to have a great deal of momentum going into knock on wood, win California. I don't want to jinx anything.
I believe though too. I feel like there's no reason really he couldn't, because the only thing really to me that stands in his way is just unfair coverage or lack thereof, because if I think more people knew more that he was doing, and he wasn't so downplayed by people who don't want him to win, I think that would give him a little bit more momentum, because other than that, he always does the best of all three when people can see what he's really like.
And the Bernie Sanders for Fresno for Fresno for Bernie. There's a couple of Facebook pages that are out there, and the energy on those pages, the stuff that people are posting. After the Sanders event, a few hours, maybe an hour after the Sanders event, 2 hours after the Sanders event, the pictures of Tacos Tijuana started showing up, and somebody posted.
It made me want to cry.
It was great.
It was the sweetest thing. Oh my god! I think that's the other thing. I look at him sometimes he's like a kid, and I'm just he's the sweetest thing. I don't mean to, it just happens. But I do really respect him as who he is and what he really is. Not
Bernie is a man of the people.
He truly is. He's been proven, and we have record of him campaigning for he's been a champion of the people for as long as more than most of us can remember, because a big part of his following is college age people, which is in unprecedented numbers. We have a picture of him from I think 1960. This is from the Chicago Tribune, when he was getting arrested for boycotting the Willis Wagons thing, where I think I think 1960s, from what I read, it was the year that they were trying to keep things segregated because they had, oh wait, no, that might have been 1970. I might be wrong, but somewhere, it's either 1960 or 1970, but he was boycotting that project because they had an inflow of African American students at a white college, and they were building these aluminum we were looking at the picture still, but they were building these aluminum trailers to keep, and they were putting them in their neighborhoods to keep them there as opposed to going to the schools. And Bernie Sanders was boycotting that, and that's why he's getting arrested in that now very famous archived picture. And I think that when they asked him about it, like, hey, is this you? He pulls out his University of Chicago ID, and he's like, it's the same one from that time. He's like, yeah, it is. That is me. Like, he's not, like, ashamed. Like, he's been fighting. He's been an active, like, advocate for civil rights long before, like, people like me were born, and I'm sure that there's people that remember. And I think back then, even, he was only, like, charged $25 for, like, doing it in the first place, but he's always been, like, ahead of the times as far as knowing what we need to be better than we are.
So, you know, our primary is on Tuesday.
Yes.
Get out and vote. If you don't vote, you don't count. And, you know, if you want to meet some of your neighbors, if you want to go out and canvass for Bernie any place in California, you know, you can find your Bernie supporters wherever you are. You do a search on Facebook, you do a search on the Google thing, and they would love to have you and love to have you canvassing for Bernie Sanders. And go out and meet some of your neighbors. Maybe you'll decide to get involved in politics. Maybe you'll run for school board. Maybe you'll do something crazy like I did and decide to run for the assembly against a doctor with $3 million. But, you know, it's exciting. Get involved in your community. Get involved, you know, in your school boards and your local elections. And this is how we make a difference.
Absolutely, and I think one of my favorite parts about his campaign in the first place is that it really is encouraging people to get more involved, more than I think most elections before it. Because, I mean, when Obama was running, I was in high school, and I mean, I didn't really have too much knowledge of how politics worked before that, but I mean, it got me a little interested. But, like, this time around, I feel like no matter who, like, most people by a large margin are, like, really interested in involved in wanting to know how this is going to turn out, whether they're, like, actively doing anything or not. But I think there is a surge of young people especially that are taking initiative to learn and to read, because I have yet to meet a young adult who's voting for, like, Bernie Sanders and can't tell you why. Like, a lot of them are really informed. I think that's the beauty of it, because beyond Bernie Sanders, I think this is the stepping stone for people to be involved and to learn about how things work, so they're not, like, blindly accepting decisions that they could have maybe had a voice in if they had paid attention or taken an interest. And that's one of the many things I love about Bernie Sanders. It's not just that he's against super PACs. It's not just that he's against the 1% or raising the minimum wage for working people so that if you are working 40 hours, you're still living in poverty. Like, it's all that, but it's more. And I think part of it also is that he's just so likable. He just is, like, the friendliest person. I have yet to have the pleasure to meet. If he ever sees us, he's like, oh, I'm going to go back to Fresno and shake hands with her. That would make my life, and I'll probably cry again like I did at the rally.
So if you want to keep money out of politics, if you want to get money out of politics, which is what we're going to need to do in order to have politics responsive to the needs of the people instead of the needs of the corporations and the wealthy, you know, we need to get money out of politics, support Bernie Sanders. I want to thank you so much for having me today.
We're so pleased to have you. Like, share the enthusiasm. I mean, it's fine if I talk for a whole hour, but it's better to have a conversation. And you can always call in the next show we have, too, on Monday. But I'm so glad that you made the time to be out here. He canvassed and he came to this show, folks. How much more dedicated in one day can you possibly be, unless he phone banks after this?
Thank you. Thank you very much. I may try and get out and do some more canvassing this afternoon when it cools off a little bit. You know, drink lots of water. But thank you very much.
Of course, and thank you again for showing your dedication. Before we leave, we're going to show one last video that we hope will convince you to vote for Bernie Sanders. If nothing else we said convinced you today, we hope that this last one will, and then when we come back we'll have a special little feature.
Feeling the burn.
Yes, it's it's one of my favorites. It has to do with why we call him Bernie Sanders. If you know, you might know what I'm talking about, but in case you don't, we're going to be having it show. We're going to be showing it rather quickly. It should be in there. I think it's the black, yeah, that one right there. The black one. The black bar. Yes, there we go. Right there. Technical difficulty.
That if he or she does their schoolwork seriously, does well, takes school. What? Now you see, this little bird doesn't know it. Oh my. I think there may be some symbolism here. I know it doesn't look like it, but that bird is really a dove asking us for world peace. No more wars. In any case,
and I hope you enjoyed watching that little beautiful, amazing, magical video of Senator Bernie Sanders, who is running for president, and sorry, wrong camera, running for president here in the United States. And June 7th is the California primaries. If you haven't voted yet, now is the time. Leading up to that, you can vote early if you'd like. And if you're not canvassing, like, you can get these really cool little banner things that a lot of canvassers are putting out on doors and going and talking to people out there. I have yet to do it myself, but that's mostly because I'm a girl and I'm afraid of being murdered if no one likes my opinions. But I mean, that's why I do like my advocacy right here, so that I can do it safely from a studio and not in front of murderers' doorsteps. And I'm sorry I just called presidents murderers, but you never know. You just never know. But anyways, before we go, we wanted to let you know that if you are feeling the burn, whether you already were or maybe watching this show has convinced you otherwise, we do have homemade Bernie Sanders patches that you can purchase for $3 each. They're handmade. They don't take very long to make, but they're really cute. I think they show the essence of the grassroots movement, and they're all $3 a piece, and we send all the proceeds to his campaign while we still can. And if they already stopped it, we'll just be using it to make more, honestly. And I have a couple that I am personally modeling on the bottom of my dress where I have pockets for you to see. We're going to zoom in so you can kind of see what they look like. They're very wearable. This one that I'm showing right now, it just says his name, and it has the little blue swirls on it. It's oops, wrong way. Here we go. It's my fault. But yeah, we have these ones right here. They're all $3 a piece. You can order them from centralvalleytalk.com. You can always call the studio and ask about them, but they're all $3 a piece, and we send the money to the campaign. And then, because I know that there's a cutoff point for that, but if that ends up being the case, we just use the money to make more of them, because it doesn't end with the primaries. We just want to win the primaries so we can vote for him to be president. So thank you for tuning into this very special edition of Central Valley Talk, the Bernie Sanders edition. We may do another one on Monday at the same time, 3 o'clock. So if you're interested, call us up and be a guest on the show. Share your opinions and help us get Bernie to win California. So thank you for tuning in today. We'll see you next week on Central Valley Talk.
CentralValleyTalk.com